Hey y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel. If you're new here, my name's Amanda. I run the channel with my friend Jen, and we are super excited about today's video because we are reading Freida McFadden books. So, all of my thriller girlies out there are probably aware that Freida McFadden is releasing the Housemaid 3, which is called The Housemaid Is Watching. And Jen and I love to do reading vlogs with Freida's books around her release dates. So we are each going to read one book of Freida's. I'm reading The Wife Upstairs, and then we are going to both be reading The Housemaid Is Watching as soon as it comes out. I'm going to go on release day to the Barnes & Noble and get my copy. I'm specifically getting the Barnes & Noble copy because they have a special edition, and I did buy the Barnes & Noble special edition of The Teacher, and it had a bonus in the back of the book that was the first couple of chapters of The Boyfriend, which is her book coming out in October. So I'm really excited to see what is the bonus material for the Barnes & Noble edition of The Housemaid Is Watching. So really excited about that. Can't wait to go get that book. But in the meantime, I am going to be reading The Wife Upstairs. This book is about a woman who is hired by a guy, and his wife has something wrong with her, and he hires this woman to kind of be like a caretaker to his wife. So I'm just curious to find out, what is wrong with the wife, what the caretaker thinks about it, how the husband is, like how did the wife get into the situation that she's in. So we will see. It kind of reminds me, I have read Verity, and it's kind of reminded me of the Verity situation, and I loved Verity by Colleen Hoover. That's my only Colleen Hoover book that I've read, but I absolutely loved that thriller. So I'm excited to pick this one up and see, what Freida can bring to the table for the trope of a disabled wife slash hot caretaker slash possibly evil husband. We'll see. We'll see where this book takes us. Let's see how many of these that I have read. I've read The Coworker, Ward D, Never Lie, one of my favorites. The Inmate, also really good. The Housemaid's Secret. Do You Remember? I have not read. I have not read that one yet. I know Jen read that one in our last reading vlog, but I haven't read that one. And The Locked Door. I've read The Locked Door. So the only one of this list that I have not read so far is Do You Remember? So maybe I will read that one when The Boyfriend comes out in October for a reading vlog. What do y'all think? Oh, look, there's a whole list of other books. Okay, so I have not read Do You Remember? From the first page, I've read Want to Know a Secret, One by One, The Wife Upstairs, which is this book. The Perfect Son, I have not read. The Ex, I have read. The Surrogate Mother, I have not read. Brain Damage, Baby City, Suicide Med, Divorce Scrubs, The Devil, Okay, so I have not read any of these books, or The Perfect Son, or Do You Remember? So I actually have several more books to read of Freida's from her backlog. The Boyfriend's coming out in October, and of course we're going to read one or two books along with that book. So I don't know, let me know if you guys have read any of these. Let me know what you think. I'd be really curious to hear what you thought about any of these books and which ones you think that I should read for the vlog coming out in October. All right, so let's just dive right into it. Sylvia, chapter 1.
All right, so I was gonna wait to start our latest Freida McFadden vlog because Housemaid Is Watching comes out Tuesday, June 11th, and Amanda mentioned that she started her second Freida book before that, and it is the weekend before June 11th. She inspired me to start my Freida, and I started to second guess the choice that I had. I was gonna do One by One. She read this one, but I watched her talk about it. It didn't seem all that great. It didn't seem like it was something that, it wasn't at the top of the Freida list. And I think she liked Ward D better. I mean, eventually I'm going to read them all, so it doesn't really matter. So I was trying to figure out which one to start with before to tide me over. So what I might do, I'm off all weekend, start one. I may end up reading another one because they go so fast. We'll see. I think I'm going to start with Ward D. I'm going to do Ward D, and hopefully if it's good enough, I'll fly through it. May even have time to sneak this one in. And then Tuesday, I'll be headed to Barnes & Noble to pick up Housemaid Is Watching. So don't you love when you have a weekend off and you can just read? I am so looking forward to that. So here we go into Ward D. All right, I started Ward D, and I already feel like it has a lot of promise. And I remember Amanda did read it. I can't remember how much she liked it, but I do remember talking to her about it at the time, because this is the one on Freida's Facebook group. It was very controversial because a lot of people kept saying that for whatever reason they didn't like it and they thought it was unrealistic. And I did avoid it because as much as I try not to listen to other people's opinions, sometimes that does influence me. But I feel like the first chapter already I am sucked in, because it takes place in a psychiatric ward, and Ward D, and Amy has to spend 13 hours overnight, and she seems very scared, though she's being reassured that it's safe and it's fine. Though she's locked in, she calls him Dr. Sleepy. He says that she would be able to get out if anything should occur. And she references at the end of the first chapter that 10 years prior, she had been in this Ward D. Her best friend was in there. And it ends with the sentence that her best friend said that Amy should be in Ward D. I don't know what that means, and I have a feeling that's going to be one of the many twists at the end of this book. But I am already sucked in, so I'm glad I chose this one to read. I have a feeling I'm going to end up, because I am off all weekend, I have a feeling I'm going to finish this very quick. And what's funny, they were talking about sleep issues, and Dr. Sleepy helps people that have sleep problems. And what's funny is I didn't feel like I slept well last night, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling that. But I am headed right back into the book.
Hey y'all. Okay, I have got to chapter 14, which is page 106. So I'm going to give you kind of 100 pages in what my thoughts are. So far, this book feels a lot like Verity. You're following Sylvie, and Sylvie is a young New Yorker who is just barely scraping by. She's having trouble paying her rent. She's having trouble finding a job, and she actually was going to a job interview one morning, and while she was getting coffee in a diner nearby, she found this old woman was choking. So she tried to help the old woman, and in the process of saving the old woman from choking, she pissed the old woman off. The old woman was saying that she wasn't choking, and she actually dumped her coffee on her, and she had her whole like attire for her interview was drenched in coffee. But there happened to be a very handsome man in the restaurant that decided to offer Sylvie a job. And this job is taking care of his wife. In this book, the husband, the handsome older man that offers her this job, is a very, very famous writer. He has done very well for himself. He has lots of money. He has lots of bestsellers out there, and he's very well known. But he's kind of weird in the fact that he lives very secluded. He lives in a very secluded house, like past the Hamptons, past like everything at the end of the island that the Hamptons is on. He lives in a very big estate, but it's very secluded and away from everything, not very many neighbors. And his wife lives there, and she has taken a fall down some stairs and has become very, she's not paralyzed, but she's just immobile. She can't feed herself. And he gives her like food through a feeding tube that she doesn't like. And Sylvie's job is to just kind of give her some companionship, not be a nurse. They have sort of a caretaker type nurse person that watches after her, but her job is just to be a friend to her, basically, and give her some companionship throughout the day while her husband is busy writing his books in the attic of their mansion. So that's where we're at. And Sylvie has found her diary and started reading her diary, which I find very interesting. And we'll go from there. She's just so far detailed in her diary, kind of how her and her husband have met. So we're kind of getting like a happy picture right now of their relationship, but you get the sense that it's not so happy now. And you're just wondering what happened, what could have gone wrong, what did he do, what did she do? You never know. You never know with Freida books who who the bad actor is until the very end. So far it's been very interesting. It is sort of reminding me a lot of Verity though. So feels a little bit like I've read this before just because I read Verity a while. It has been a couple years since I read Verity, so it has been a while, but it is reminding me, it is giving me lots of flashbacks of scenes that I've read throughout that book. So we will see. Hopefully it doesn't, hopefully it has its own twist and its own interesting little aspects and facets that sets it apart from Verity in my mind. We will see. Let's just keep reading and let's just go. I've learned to just kind of be along for the ride as much as I can with these thrillers. I can't help but try to think, oh, that's suspicious, or ooh, didn't she say that person's eyes were supposed to be blue, or didn't she say that he was left-handed and now he's eating with his right hand, or whatever the clues are that they give you in these thrillers. I can't help but try to analyze them and pick them apart. However, I try my best to just not think about it and just keep reading and just go along with whatever the author has in store for me. So let's just do that. We're just gonna keep going, and I will be back when I read some more with some more updates.
All right, so something came. I originally was going to show what I had purchased online for me and Amanda in our last vlog for Riley Sager's Middle of the Night, but I ended up getting the Jason Rekulek, author of Hidden Pictures, and he has a new one, The Last One at the Wedding. Anyway, so I ended up putting that in that vlog because what I had purchased hadn't come yet. But this is the perfect vlog to show what I got Amanda. And one thing came today. There's actually another thing coming. It is to celebrate the new Freida book that's coming out Tuesday, Housemaid Is Watching. I found a couple things. One is from Etsy, but the thing that came today is from Freida's online store. She has merchandise. She has her own merch store, and I'm not even sure if Amanda knows that. But let me open up the package and I can show you what I ordered. I'm excited about it. All right, it came in this envelope, so let me get it open. I got a new cover for my tablet, so I was thinking of putting some stickers on it, but I found the perfect one and I thought maybe Amanda would want it, but there's something else in here. So other than each of us are getting a Freida Rita, and that's what they call them on her online group, has coined the phrase Freida Rita, and I got one for each of us, but also a autograph from Freida McFadden herself, and I got one for each of us to put in our latest book. So I'm excited about sending this to her, but there is one more thing from Etsy that I'm waiting for to come. It should be, I think it said tracking was this coming week, so I'm gonna put that in a package once I get it, and hopefully she gets it. I'll wait to upload my part so that she can be surprised and not see it in the video. Also, I can put, or she can actually put, a link in the Freida vlog that we're doing so that you guys, if you didn't know she has a merch store, you can be linked and visit the store yourself and see all the cool stuff that they have to purchase for Freida McFadden fans. All right, we just did a flashback scene, and it's hinting at a potential unreliable narrator. And you never know with Freida, this could just be a twist down the road. But the flashback scene was 8 years earlier, and Amy sees, quote unquote, a little blonde girl, but the friend that she's with questions and says, "What little blonde girl?" I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Let's see if it's unreliable narrator or some other twist.
Hey guys, it's the next day and I got a lot more reading done last night. I'm currently on page 231 and I am to a chapter that's going to be Sylvie's point of view, and we are further along in Victoria's journal. Victoria is the housewife. I don't think I mentioned her name earlier, but her name is Victoria. She's the housewife that fell down the stairs and has a hard time taking care of herself. And we've been reading her journal, and we're at the point, I just finished the point in her journal where she's now married. And it's everything's, let's just say, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say everything is not as happy as it was when they first started dating. So they are 2 days into the marriage, and something happened on the wedding night. Not gonna tell you what, but she's just not quite as happy as she was when they first started dating. And so it's starting to get a little bit darker. You, at this point, aren't sure who or what to believe. The Freida McFadden books are kind of very well written for unreliable narrators. And I know Jen does not like unreliable narrators. I personally kind of like it. I kind of like guessing if you can trust them or not. And, you know, I feel the same about this journal. On the surface, it seems like you can trust Victoria, but you're also, sometimes some of the things seem just really maybe like skewed from just like, it's obviously just from one person's point of view. Let me just say that it's just from her point of view, and it doesn't feel like she's lying per se, but it just feels like it could be interpreted differently from another person's perspective. Maybe involved in some of the things. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain without giving away spoilers. So let's just say, like, I'm really having a good time. It is still reminding me a lot of Verity, but I don't really mind reading the same tropes or even the same setups in thrillers as long as the twists are different. I mean, the reason we read thrillers is for the twist, right? We want to get sucked into a story, and then we want to be blindsided by some crazy twist that we didn't see coming. And Freida always does that for me. So the twists seem to be a little different, at least the very few. There's not been very many so far. I feel like the end is going to be jam-packed with twists, but it just feels similar to Verity, same sort of setup, but there are obviously different characters. There are other people staying at this estate. With Victoria barely able to talk, she kind of mumbles, and it's kind of fun to kind of not know what she's saying, but kind of guess what she's saying sometimes. So I just think this book's been really fun, even though it is close to Verity. It's still been very fun, and I don't mind at all, as long as the twists end up being very different, and which is what I'm expecting for the end of this book. So there is a good chance I'm going to finish this book tonight, and we'll be back later or tomorrow with final thoughts on this book, and then we will just be waiting for release day of The Housemaid 3. I'm so excited. I can't wait for that book to get out.
All right, so I thought it was gonna just take me a day, but I am on day 2. I've been going back and forth between my tablet. I'm reading the new Jodi Picoult. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name. There's a lot of debate I have to look up how you say her name. But I have an e-arc of her new one, and I am a Jodi fan, and I've been wanting to read it, but I keep getting irritated reading on a tablet. I've been alternating between a book and the Jodi Picoult. So I keep wanting to read that one, and then I get frustrated because it's on the tablet, so then I come back to a book. So in this one, it is creepy. Like, I feel this is one of her creepiest ones, and I have a theory that Amy is either going to be schizophrenic and she's been a patient in Ward D the whole time and she's been hallucinating being a medical student, or she's hallucinating that she's seeing her former best friend who is a patient there that's freaking her out because they haven't spoken in like 8 to 10 years. And who knows what else she's been hallucinating from what I've been reading. What always irritates me about that, it does feel, obviously, it's unreliable narrator because you don't know what's going on. You don't really know the truth. Sometimes that's okay, and I am just sucked into a story like that. But I feel like that's why I keep putting it down, because you don't really know what's going on. And sometimes that just can get agitating. That's why I keep going between the two books. I am going to dive back into Ward D. I am halfway through. It's just about halfway through. And I do have to run some errands today. And I did get this at Second and Charles over by Trader Joe's, which I have to pick up some groceries. I may see if they have another Freida. I got really lucky that I got this one. And since they sell used books, I keep checking because you never know what you're going to find. There are a couple more Freidas I don't have, a lot of her very beginning ones, which I think are more rare. I'm hoping I can find on one of my pop-ins to Second and Charles. So I'm going to read some and then go run and get groceries. And I may take you guys along to see Second and Charles to see if they have any.
Update time. I have finished The Wife Upstairs by Freida McFadden. And this book was not my favorite. It was not my least favorite. It's probably somewhere in the middle. I think this book is very entertaining. It is very grippy, very twisty-turny, although I don't feel like I was really shocked by any of the twists in this book. So I love how thick this book was. It is a little bit longer, Freida McFadden book. It is over 400 pages. So it's 411 pages, and I really like that because I really like the thicker books. I really like kind of getting more of these worlds and these characters and books that I enjoy, and especially with Freida books, who the books you can read them so fast. It's nice to have a kind of chunky Freida book. It's not something that you just read in like one day. Not that that's not fun. Who doesn't love just flying through a book in one day? That feeling is amazing, that sense of accomplishment. But I really liked that it was a little longer. I think this book could have used a few more characters. There's really only 3 main characters, and then there's 3 side characters. And then I guess there's one character that's talked about but never actually, you're never actually introduced to them. So I just feel like this story could have used a little more layers, maybe just a little bit more up in the ante here with a few more characters. And then you could have had a few more twists that would have been more surprising, I guess, or just more shocking. But that's really my only complaint about this novel, is that I feel like the twists weren't as shocking. I don't feel like there was enough characters to really contemplate. You do still wonder what's going on. Like, it's not like cut and dry. Like, there is a lot of twist and there is a lot of mystery around what's going on. But when there's only 3, main characters, it's kind of like you're down to 1 or 2 options. And I like the books that have just a few more interesting characters. Ward D, for example, was a book. It was locked door. You're following this nurse that is locked in the ward of a hospital that is that houses mentally ill patients. But that book was so interesting because there were so many different characters with the different patients, and they had so much depth to them because you didn't know what to believe, who to believe, if they were being crazy or if they were being sincere. So and then the main character as well in Morty is kind of a not reliable narrator. So, and I really like that. I know Jen does not like that, but I really like that because I think that just adds another layer of the mystery to the novel. And this really didn't have that. So overall, a great Freida book. I do recommend it, although it's really not my favorite. And now all that's left to do is wait until the Freida McFadden Housemaid Is Watching book comes out. It comes out in a few days, so I'm really excited. I'm gonna have to find something to read and keep me occupied until then, but we are just gonna have to wait until this book comes out and I go get my Barnes & Noble special edition copy. So I guess I'll just check back in with you when the Housemaid Watching is released.
I finished, and as usual, Freida gets me because there's just twist upon twist upon twist. And even knowing you have an unreliable narrator on your hand, I guessed some as usual and not completely also as usual. So very much did enjoy. I mean, it took me like a day. I know I was switching between this and Jodi Picoult, but it really just was like one day between half yesterday, half today. And I'm very glad I picked this up. I don't know if I'm going to pick up one by one before Tuesday and start reading that, but I probably would be able to finish it before I start Housemaid Is Watching, but we'll see. I'm going to try and go back to Jodi and see how frustrated I get. Stay tuned. All right, I got the package with the second item for Amanda in celebration of Freida McFadden's new Housemaid Is Watching. So let's see what I got. And it is from Etsy, so I will make sure that we link the shop in the comments, but I love that it says Happy Mail is here when you support a small business. And let's see. Oh, she has little stickers in here. And I will, you guys can see it here, but I will make sure the link is in our vlog as well. And I got one for me and Amanda, and it is a bookmark that shows every single one of Freida's books, including The Boyfriend, which is out in the fall, as a nice little bookmark. It's a nice little gifty thing to send as we read our latest Freida. So I have to hurry up and get this in the mail so that she can have it for the book since it comes out tomorrow. So I'm gonna get that in the mail. It's Tuesday, June 11th, and you know what that means. The new Freida is available today. I'm at Barnes & Noble to pick it up. I have it on hold. I special ordered it, but I also feel like checking out some other books and see what else they have, and I just may pick up more. Who knows? Let's check out Barnes & Noble. It's been acquired. I ended up not getting anything else while I was there because we are going to Columbus again, and hopefully this time I get a chance to go to the bookstore I've been really wanting to check out there, and I will take you guys along. So hopefully this means you'll see footage right after this. I also really want to start this because I've been dying to read it. So here we go.
it is the Housemaid 3 release day. I keep calling it the Housemaid 3, but I hope you all know it's the Housemaid Is Watching. I just find it a lot shorter and faster to say Housemaid 3. So the Housemaid 3 is releasing today. I'm so excited. I am at my Barnes & Noble. I can't wait to go in here, get my copy. I'm also picking up another book. I'm thinking I need to pick up the second book in the Throne of Glass series. So far I've read the prequel, Assassin's Blade, and I've read A Throne of Glass, and now I need to pick up the second book, so I'll probably get that book in here too, and maybe browse around and see what their monthly buy one get one half off deals are. So let's go. I'm so excited. I haven't been to a Barnes & Noble in quite some time, so this is super exciting for me. I just got back from shopping in Barnes & Noble, and the only book that I purchased was The Housemaid Is Watching by Freida McFadden. I just didn't see any books that I had to have with the buy one get one half off in the fantasy or thriller section, and surprisingly, there was not a big display with this book on it. I was expecting to go into the store and there'd be like a table in the front just packed with these books, because I know it's going to be a big seller, but there was just this tiny little cubby in like the information desk, and there was only a couple of copies down there. So maybe they've got more in the back and they just haven't put them all out yet, but I'm really glad I was able to get my copy. If they had sold out, if that's all they had and they'd sold out before I got here, I'd have been so upset. But I did get my copy, and I've been trying to be more mindful of the books that I purchased this year. I've been trying to use Libby and my library a lot more, and I've actually been reading books through Libby and my library, and then purchasing them if I like them, or reading the ARCs and then purchasing the books on release day or when the official book comes out if I really like the book. That way I'm not like trying to spend a whole lot of money on buying books that I may or may not like. I'm just trying to be mindful and buy books that, one, I need for videos, or two, that I know that I really like, or that I'm gonna like. So of course I bought this one because I love Freida, and the Housemaid series has been really good, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. I'm probably gonna buy all the Freida books. I would love to have a Freida collection, but yeah, I'm kind of proud of myself for only buying one book today. But we will see. I have a lot more books coming out this summer that I want to read and want to buy, and I'll be making more trips to Barnes, so I probably won't be as good next time. I am waiting in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. I'm not eating in because I just want to run through and go home real quick. I have some things to do at home. I have some videos to edit, and of course start reading The Housemaid Is Watching. But since the line is so long, I'm thinking I can probably get a couple of chapters read before it's time for me to order and pick up my food. So I'm just gonna start reading right now in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. Alright guys, I just got my Chick-fil-A bag, and I got to page 10, which is like halfway through chapter 2, and already there's a twist. I'm just kidding. I mean, it felt like a twist to me, and I'm gonna tell you because since it's so early in the book, it's not gonna spoil anything, but Millie and Enzo are married and have 2 kids and are moving into a suburb, a nice house in the suburbs. I was not expecting that to happen. I wasn't expecting that time gap between the end of the second book and the beginning of this third one. So already something new, something I wasn't expecting. is going on. So I cannot wait to get home and get all of my stuff done so that I can read some more later tonight.
So a couple things. You saw that I went to the book loft. It is a very cramped but very cool bookstore that I'm finally glad I got to see. It is, when I say cramped, I mean it is very tiny spaces, and they even have signs that say to be careful and let the other person go through because it's just tiny. And I'm sure it's historic. I didn't look it up, but I have a feeling there is a lot of history in that building. It creaks when you walk and a lot of wooden stairs, and it's a very cool place. So if you are near Columbus and don't know about it, I would suggest you check it out. The disappointing part of that trip is they didn't have any Freida McFadden at all that I saw. There are a lot of places to look at books, and I'm not exactly sure how they acquire their books. I thought some of it was used or like bargain books, but even in what I thought was like the newer books, I didn't see any Freida at all. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't see a lot of books that I necessarily wanted. I was a little overwhelmed, to be honest, at the amount of books that was in that store. But I did get some things I'm going to show you. I love collecting bookmarks, and I found a couple. This one, I don't know if you guys can see it very well. It's like a haunted house, and it almost looks like dripping blood. It reminded me of like a horror book, and it's wooden bookmarks. Then one that just is like almost like a souvenir from the book loft that has their name on it. And I just like that graphic a lot. Pick up a Lisa Jewell book because I only read the one now, I think. It's been a long day, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit tired. But I did get The Third Wife by Lisa Jewell. I picked that up. I'm a sucker for classics, and I especially love Grimm's fairy tales. And anytime I see an edition that just seems unique and really cool, I pick it up. Picked up this edition of Grimm's fairy tales. So those were my finds, my tiny little haul from the book loft. Now moving on. So I am about 50 pages in, and I do have my bookmark that I got from Etsy, and it fell 1 second. The bookmark I also sent to Amanda that has all of the Freida books in it. And we've gotten some story setting the stage for Millie and Enzo and the neighborhood that they are in and the neighbors. And it's setting it up to be some domestic catty housewife kind of thing going on. God knows what's going to happen, but the neighbors, it's just getting this very catty vibe again. And I feel like I just read another book of hers that felt very similar. That's interesting. It's an interesting Millie so far. I'm still at the beginning, so who knows where this story is going to go. But one tiny little thing, it was the Do You Remember book by Freida that I had done in the previous vlog. She kept talking about pomegranate juice, and I was saying how gross she made it sound, like a cup of blood. And oddly, I don't know if Freida has a thing about pomegranate juice, but it was already brought up in this, which I thought was kind of funny. Anyway, I'm going to read some more before I go to bed tonight. Hopefully I don't stay up too late. And I do work the next 2 days. I'm going to try and get in what I can because I really want to finish this. But I will let you know as I go any more thoughts. So I am 100 pages, and sorry, there's glare coming from the light. Stupid glasses. Okay, maybe that'll work. So 100-page update, and I kind of am a little I don't know if I want to say uncomfortable or just worried about some of what's going on. And I'm being careful because of spoilers. Maybe I'll just let Amanda decide if it's a spoiler or not. I am not liking how we have to question a character and what may be going on. And I don't know how to say that without revealing more, but it's making me uneasy that there's a character that is beloved, I would say, and you don't know what they're up to. And it could be a red herring. I mean, Freida loves doing that. Not sure where she's going, where she would want us to be suspicious of this character. I just hope there isn't anything that ends up being untrustworthy or that they were up to something. So let's hope not. Anyway, I was watching an interview with Freida, and she had done it with a library. I saw the link when I was on Facebook, and I ended up watching it. And I got a screen grab of part of the interview, so I'm going to show that here so you guys can check it out. And I will be back with more thoughts when I read more.
I am excited. Hopefully it will happen.
Are you going to be involved?
I am not. I mean, I always say to these, producers and stuff, like, I don't know anything. I'm just like, just keep me in the loop. Just tell me who you cast as Enzo, and I'll be happy. Like, just
Paul Rudd. No, I'm kidding.
Paul Rudd. Yeah, I don't know if he'd be right.
I don't think so.
I love him.
Just had to continue with the theme because that was
maybe that's true. So there's also The Coworker was optioned by Sony.
And just like that, I am on page 152, chapter 28 of The Housemaid Is Watching. I don't know what to think about this book. I am really enjoying this book, but there's not a lot going on, which is weird for me because I'm a very, very plot-driven reader. I like a lot of action. I like the plot moving forward. I like things progressing, new interesting characters popping up in books, that kind of thing. I like several levels to my reading. And so far, this book, there's not been that much going on, but I can't stop reading it. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this book. We'll see what happens and what twists come along, but I feel like this might be my favorite housemaid book. I'm not sure, but you're basically following Millie and Enzo, and they're in their 40s now, and they have 2 children, and they're moving to the suburbs on Long Island, and you're just sort of following them and moving into this new house and meeting their kind of weird and annoying and odd neighbors, and you're learning about them and their kids. I really like the fact we're getting a lot more of Enzo in this book. The first 2 books he's in it, of course, but he's not really a main character, but he is a main character in this book, and I'm really, really enjoying that. And I'm just kind of enjoying, reading their story of moving into this house and meeting their neighbors, even though not a lot has actually happened. I'm just hooked. I don't know what it is. I don't know. This is new for me. I mean, I just think the way Freida writes and structures her books, you can't help but get hooked on them. That's just my explanation for it, because other than them, honestly, like I'm 152 pages in, and other than them moving in and meeting their neighbors, there's just not been that much going on, really. I mean, nothing traumatic has happened, but I do know there was a very traumatic prologue. So I know that someone gets hurt and something happens, but we just haven't got to that point yet. So we'll see. I am anxiously awaiting that part of the book, and that twist, but we will see what happens. But that's just a quick update for y'all right now. I'm just waiting for a pickup order that I ordered from the store. Brought my book, get some reading done. Just thought I'd film a quick update real quick and let you guys know where I'm at. Hey y'all, I just got home from running my errands. I gave you a little Freida McFadden update from my car while I was waiting on pickup out running errands today. So I was surprised when I got back home with another package from Jen. I do have post-it notes over our information here, but I wanted to show you guys the cute little package it came in and the cute stickers that she put on it for me. And then there's like really cute little sticker in the back. Just super cute, but I can't wait to open it and see what's inside. All right, so that was actually taped shut pretty good. So I had to go get a little tool to break open the tape. Anyways, let's reach in here and see what comes out. Make sure I get everything. I see a Freida something. Ooh, a sticker. Freida Rita. Oh my gosh, look you guys. This is immediately going on my tablet. Oh my gosh, Freida Rita. That's so cute. I've been trying to actually slowly collect stickers to put on my tablet. I want to fill it up. I want to fill up my tablet with this tablet case. I want to fill my tablet case up with stickers, but I've just kind of been collecting them as I go along. Like when I travel, go to a bookstore, I'll buy a vinyl sticker, or like, so a lot of times the publisher send me one. I have a Nightfire sticker on the inside of the case. Like if I'm reading it, reading the tablet, the back is open, you can see there's a Nightfire sticker. The publisher sent me that with an ARC. So I've just been kind of collecting these stickers randomly, like over time. And so I cannot wait. I cannot wait to put that on my cover. And then I got a signed nameplate from Freida. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for reading. Best wishes, Freida McFadden. Oh, I don't know what book to put it in though. I guess I should probably put it in the Housemaid 3 because this is probably a Housemaid 3 thing that she's doing. So fun, so cute. And then we also have a bookmark. It's a Freida McFadden bookmark. It lists all of her books. That is so cute. Hold on, I'm going to open it so I can look at all the books because the packaging is kind of hiding some of the books. Look. All right, so there's a whole list of all of her books, even The Boyfriend that's coming out in October. So this is good. A whole up-to-date list of her books through October of this year. So every time I read a Freida book, I'm gonna have to use her bookmark. So exciting, so cute, so perfect timing. It came right as we were filming this vlog. So very excited. I cannot wait to use this bookmark. As soon as I go get my book, I'm taking out the bookmark that's in there and putting this one in. And I will finish the rest of this vlog reading The Housemaid Is Watching with my new bookmark. Thank you, Jen. Again, I probably forgot to say it, but thank you so much for my Freida merch. I love it all so much and will cherish it forever.
All right, I made it to part 2 and I really feel like I'm being baited to what I was saying earlier regarding not trusting someone, and it's looking really bad for that character right now, but I have this feeling it's either one of the kids or it's the neighbor across the street that has also been a problem, but not as much as the next door neighbor. I'm heading into part 2 to see what happens next. Okay, I know that it can't be what I just read. It's not the truth. I know I'm on to Freida. I texted Amanda and I told her who, after I read this, I told her who I thought was going to end up being involved. And I just have a feeling I'm right. And I'm not going to say because that could be a spoiler, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. All right, I am on part 3 and I think I'm right. Partially at least. So it's going down the path I thought it might. But we shall see because there's still book to be read, so we'll see, because I have another part of a theory, and since there's not much left, I have a pretty good chance of being right. Okay, I am done, and As usual, I'm right about some things, but I didn't guess like details. I mean, it's nearly impossible to guess all the details with Freida. And it was definitely twisty, definitely good. I'll see you again for some final thoughts on the Freida books that I read.
Hey y'all! Oh, that sun is bright. Let me see if I can... I'm gonna have to close my blind just a little bit. Hold on. Okay, is that better? I hope so. I know there's still a little backlight there. I just like to have the window open. I like to see outside and the sunshine, and it's just so pretty. It is 9:15 in the morning and super bright sunny day it looks like we're gonna have. So my only plans for the day, I don't have to go anywhere, so my only plans for the day are to do some reading and just do the daily like cleaning task, little cleaning things that I like to do around the house. So while I sit here, enjoy my coffee, I'm going to finish The Housemaid Is Watching. So far, I am really enjoying this book. Like I said earlier, I think this is my favorite housemaid book. I don't know what it is about this third book, but I'm just having such a good time. I really love the characters that Millie and Enzo have become. I love the fact that they're moving into this kind of nice neighborhood and just getting to know these neighbors. It's just been so much fun, and these characters are so fun to follow. So I'm just having such a good time, and I feel like so far this might be my favorite housemaid book, and I think that it's gonna be twists that I'm not gonna see coming. So I'm really anxious to finish this book. So let's just get right to it. I am currently made it all the way to chapter 56. And I just wanted to pause and stop here because I've read most of the book by now, but I've come up with a new theory. And I don't know if it's fair to come up with new theories at the end because, you know, most of the book has been read, and you're getting close to like the twist and the end, but there's something that seems weird to me about the cleaning lady, Martha. And I've come up with some kind of theory with her. It's just something that's flowing through my head at this point in the book. Probably not. It's probably not going to be a thing, but that's just what is going on right now. That's just what I'm thinking. Yep. So I'm just gonna keep reading. I still have some more time. I've got all day. My plan is to finish this book and then start The House That Horror Built by Christina Henry, because Jen's already read that book and we're doing it for a vlog, so I'm really behind. So I'm gonna finish this and then start that book. That's my only plans for the day. So keep going. We're just gonna keep reading and keep trekking on. Okay. I have made it to part 3. You're getting the point of view in part 3 of her daughter, and I love it. I think that is so fun. I'm really, really excited to get her point of view on these things from a little kid about all the stuff that's been going on in this book, and all of the issues that Millie's been having, kind of getting this little kid's perspective, like what she's seen, what she hasn't seen, what she thinks, maybe like more of a perspective about her brother. She has a little brother, so see what's going on, we're gonna find out what's really going on, I think, from her point of view. So keep trucking along. I just finished The Housemaid Is Watching, and I love it. I love this book. It's probably my top 3 Freida books, and so good. I said before I thought this was gonna be my favorite housemaid book, and it is. It really is. This book was so well done. Oh my gosh, I like it so much. Let me know if you guys have read all 3 of the Housemaid books, which one was your favorite, the first, second, or third one? I'm just super curious because I know, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people are gonna like the first one because they probably hadn't read that twist before. But for me, it was this one. I thought this one was completely new, completely original, completely fresh. A very nice ending. I loved the fact that we got a glimpse into Millie and Enzo as husband and wife and a little bit older. And with their kids, super fun. I don't know. Those are like my thoughts right now. Let me think about this for a little bit and then I'll get back to you with some absolute final thoughts. But after just finishing this book, that's kind of my final thoughts for now. And I'll get back to you.
All right, guys, just some final thoughts on the 2 Freida books that I read for this vlog. And the whole reason why we had done this vlog was to celebrate Housemaid Is Watching. I just finished this one last night and I absolutely loved it. Lots of twists. I thought it was a perfect end, if there is really going to be an end, of the trilogy for The Housemaid. So many twists and turns, though, as you guys saw, I did guess at least the players who is involved with what happens. It's always hard to talk about things, as I always say, without trying to spoil anything and give too much away, because if you really want to read Freida, these are the kind of books that you are being careful with what you know. When you experience these books, they are such a better experience when you don't really know much and you're getting all of these twists and turns out of nowhere and not knowing what's coming at you. This one, hard to say, because Amanda had texted me at the very beginning and she said that this information's in the first chapter, and I've been very tempted to say things, but I just feel I don't want to give away too much. If you're familiar with the Housemaid series, obviously I would think some people may end up reading this not realizing it's a sequel or the third in a trilogy, and if you read the first 2, you'll definitely appreciate the characters that are in this one. That's all I'll say. So I would say this is definitely in my top 10 Freida books. But even after Ward D, which I also very much enjoyed, both of these still have not taken over as my top 2 Freida books. Top 3. My top 3 Freida books continue to be The Ex, The Housemaid, and The Inmate. Those are my top 3. And though this one, I loved this one. I thought it was really well done as well. And I would also say in like the top 10 to 15 of Freida.
All right, y'all. Final thoughts. Final thoughts on The Housemaid Is Watching. My favorite book of the series. I've already said that. I do think this is going to be the last book of the series. And the Barnes & Noble special or exclusive, it says exclusive edition. I just call them special editions, I don't know why. But the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, the reason that I think it's a Barnes & Noble exclusive is because in the back, after you finish the book, you have this little reading group guide, which I honestly never read. And then you have conversation with the author, which I honestly rarely ever read as well. I wouldn't specifically go out and look for an exclusive edition just for those little tidbits in the back. I was kind of hoping that the back of this book on the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition would include chapters from more upcoming books from Freida. I was looking through the conversation with the author, and I also noticed in the beginning of the book, and I noticed this when I first started reading the book, and I asked Jen about it actually, but in the very beginning, and this is probably also part of the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition because it says, "Dear Barnes & Noble readers." Freida writes a little letter to Barnes & Noble readers, and the very last sentence of this little letter says, I hope you enjoy The Housemaid Is Watching and that it gives you the ending to the series that you've been waiting for. Happy reading, Freida. So I text Jen because Jen follows Freida on Facebook and she's in a Freida McFadden's Facebook page, and she kind of knows a lot more about Freida. She does, she'll watch interviews that Freida's given and things. So I asked Jen if Freida has mentioned that this is the last book of the series. And Jen said in an interview, Freida said she didn't even plan on making it a series. Like, it was just going to be The Housemaid and that was it. But her publishers wanted her to continue the series, and I am really glad that she did. Not a huge fan of the second book as much, but I really liked this book. So I'm really glad that we got this story out of Millie and Enzo, and Freida did continue writing this one. So I was kind of shocked to learn that this was probably the last Housemaid book. I was kind of curious to see how far the series would go, but it looks like this is going to be the last one. And when I was reading through Conversation with the Author in the back of the book, there is a question. Okay, so here it is. The question is, what do you hope readers take away from the book? And Freida replied, I wrote this book to tie a bow on the Housemaid series. After writing the first 2 books, a lot of readers had questions about the fates of the characters. So I hope that after reading this, those readers will feel a sense of satisfaction. So for right now, it looks like Freida is planning on this is going to be the last Housemaid book. She does also talk a little more about sequels and writing them, and she doesn't really like to write them, and she also feels like and Jen told me this as well, but it's also kind of reiterated with the questions in the back. But Freida feels like when you have a series, you know that the main character is going to live. So in and of itself, that's a spoiler. Just knowing that the characters survive longer in more books, you already know like they're going to live. So that's kind of a spoiler. Which for a writer like Freida, with as like many twists as she has and as just shocking ups and downs that you go through with the books, I think for her that is a big deal, and that is probably does make the writing process a lot harder. I can completely see that for a writer like Freida, and any writers, you know, I'm not a writer. I wish I was. I would love to just sit and be able to write books, but I can't. I can only imagine how tough it is to keep these stories and characters going and coming up with new ideas. So that's just my last little tidbit about this book. I hope you guys found this vlog interesting. I hope you guys will go out and pick up her series. If you like thrillers, if you're like fast-paced books, if you're in a reading slump, there's not going to be a better way to get out, because these books go so fast. They're so easy to read. They're so fun. The characters just, I don't know what it is. Just the writing, I don't know. But the books are gripping and you just want to keep going. There's nice little short chapters, so it's easy to get little bites at a time and keep going. I know lots of people love the short chapters, and to be honest, I do too. I don't mind longer chapters, and I don't mind stopping in the middle of a chapter. And putting like my bookmark in and going doing something else and coming back, but I know that bothers some people so much. So for those of y'all that like short chapters, fast reads, something that's super entertaining and fun, then I highly recommend you pick up a Freida book. And if you're going to read the series, I think this book could be a standalone book, but it's fun to read the whole series. I think you would benefit from reading all 3 books, but I do think you could read this one as a standalone and understand completely what's going on. You do get a little bit of the characters' past, but it's not overwhelming. They're in a whole new setting, a whole new neighborhood, all new characters. So I highly recommend it. Also, you know that we're going to be doing a reading vlog in October when The Boyfriend comes out. So let us know in the comments below, please, like what books you want to see us read. Like I said, most of the ones I have not read. I've not read The Son, The Perfect Son, The Good Son, something like that. And I haven't read a lot of the medical type themed thrillers of hers yet. So let me know what you guys think. I would love to know what you want to see us read, what you want to see us add maybe to the vlogs, or if you had something that you thought would be fun or something we could do for the Freida vlogs, please let me know. I know that these are some of our most watched vlogs and you guys love them, so we're gonna keep putting them out every time Freida comes out with a book, and hopefully we don't run out of more Freida books to read because the list is getting low. I think I only have 8. I only have 8 books left last time I counted, I believe. 7 or 8. We did it earlier in the vlog, so you'll know. But I keep rambling and I just need to go. We need to go. You guys don't want to sit here and hear me ramble. Plus, I have another book to read today and start. So we're going to do that. We're going to jump on The House That Horror Built, and I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog.
I'm super excited that The Boyfriend is coming out in October 1st. I know we'll be doing a vlog for that one for sure. There are other Freida books that we still have to read, and I have a feeling we may not be able to wait until October in order to do another Freida vlog. I think both of us are going to want to read more before that. And Freida has been teasing something is happening in the next couple months with Freida. She said she has 3 surprises. She said this on her Facebook group. I have no idea. I know her Housemaid series is being made into movies. It could be about that. I don't know. She could have an announcement for another book coming out, that maybe one of her books are being made into a series for TV. Who knows? There could be so many different things, and she loves to surprise and she loves to delight her fans. So I'm sure we're going to have something that's going to be fun. Well, thanks again for watching as we read Freida McFadden, and the newest one, Housemaid Is Watching, is out now. It's the 3rd of the Housemaid series. Definitely recommend Freida in general, but these 2 are definitely really good choices. I'm back for more Freida, and we also have a lot of other videos out there. We have a most anticipated for July and August coming out soon, and I definitely think you guys should check that out with all the great releases coming out in July and August. So stay tuned for more, and until next time.